One common theme you'll notice is my opponent's going to try to grip me a lot, whether he's trying to grab my neck, he's trying to grab my shoulder, trying to grab my arm, trying to grab my clothing. In a lot of these situations, we're going to initiate techniques that force them to let go. And if they let go, great. I will show you a submission if they continue to cling to their grip, or another thing to do if they cling to their grip. But always remember, if they have your neck and you make them let go of your neck, you win and you can get out of there. If they have your clothes and you make them let go of your clothes, you win and you can get out of there. So don't feel like you have to continue playing the game that your partner wants you to play. So with that, I'm going to show you two options for when our partner grabs our clothing. So if my partner grabs my collar, right? One option we just went over, where I can make the Y frame, or like I like to say Wu-Tang forever because it looks like the Wu-Tang logo to me. Two hands under, push the hands up, butt drops, and I step back as my shoulders move back as well. So really easy grip break option. But I'm gonna show two other things that we may be able to do. And the first one is a go behind. So if he grabs, maybe I can't get the grip off, right? Maybe he's a really strong person. And so what I'm going to do is, if I can't move my buddy, I can move myself. And it's generally easier to move your own body than your partner's body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab his wrist and make a handshaking motion with this wrist, and I'm going to shake hands with the inside of his elbow. As I shake hands with the inside of his elbow, my own elbow is going to pull tight to my body, and I'm going to step into him. Now all I do is I duck and go behind. This was one of the first techniques on Elio Gracie's fundamentals curriculum. Let me show you that from this angle. So if he grips, right? Maybe I tried to break it off, but I couldn't. So now I got to move myself. I'm going to catch his wrist, shake hands with his elbow. Now when I shake hands with his elbow, I'm not moving my arm, I'm moving my arm and body at the same time. My elbow comes in tight and makes a frame. The reason that we want to do this is Jesse break my posture. Really difficult for Jesse to break my posture, right? As I often say, like to new jujitsu folks, you have two jobs, keep breathing, and if you can't breathe, tap. My philosophy on yoga, jujitsu, and life is if I keep breathing, can't have gone that bad. And if you keep your elbows tight, we're structurally sound. No one is as strong here as they are here. Plus we can stay at home, defend against strikes, things of that nature. So a lot of times, depending on the angle of his hand, and for every job there is a perfect tool, and there's tons of little techniques for every like posture, whether he has his thumb down, whether he has it like grabbing a low grip, and we can talk about the perfect tool for each of those. But one of my favorite things to do here is if he gives me the bully grip and kind of like gets a hold of me, this can make it very difficult to break, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make hands, my hard hands, like I'm in an anime, and I'm just going to grab his wrist. And now if Jesse tries to get his wrist back, it's very difficult, right? And so what I'm going to do is if I were just to turn his wrist, that is a wrist lock. And you see him naturally like bending backward. So nobody's really gonna tap to this wrist lock, but they may go down just from the wrist lock. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna do a trip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step behind his leg, taking my Achilles tendon toward his Achilles tendon with my knee pit behind his knee pit, and I'm gonna keep my knee bent. You see how Jesse kind of wants to fall right away just because of the pressure on his wrist? All I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna kick this leg straight. Once again, we control the arm so that we control the situation after he falls. So he grabs, right? Maybe he turns his hand up like this, or bring your hand back. Maybe I just decide to do that for him, right? Me personally, I always want to break the grip and diminish, just de-escalate the situation. But if he decides it's going to make it really hard for me to break the grip, it's like a heart, right? So I'm grabbing the meat of his thumbs. If I just turn, a lot of guys are just gonna fall because there's a lot of pressure on your wrist there. But just to be sure, I'm gonna step behind, my knee pit goes to his knee pit, and now I just turn as I pop my leg straight. We do our impact control position where I keep control of his arm, put my knee on his belly, stop him from getting up and fighting me again. So those are a few options. Like generally, I have a check down list in situations like this, starting with the lowest impact, least aggression, and then escalating if I'm forced. Like stage one is don't let him grip you, right? That's why we got our hands up and we have the ability to move. If he does grip you, we want to get the grip off. If we can't get the grip off, now there are a few tactics that we can employ to get on top and make sure we stay safe.